Good afternoon, everyone. Rob Lukey with our Capital Group. Take a quick second to go over the S&P Case-Shiller Index, which is the most widely used index as far as home prices go, and also take a look at some of the individual cities and what's going on with home prices, and then look at our Capital Group and what we've done in comparison to those returns. If you look at the Case-Shiller, what you'll see is, remember we mentioned that we'll see this choppy move up. Here's the drop, and this is as of late 2008. And in comparison, we started our Capital Group and started investing in short-term real estate flips right around late 2007. Now, we've showed an average return of right around 25% as far as their overall return on investment. So if you take that and you look at it realistically and say, okay, since that time, that's 4 years, let's assume now going on 5, you're talking about 125% return on overall equity. Now, what I wanted to show you is in comparison. So we anticipate to be able to beat the recovery process that's going on in the market right now. It'll be interesting to see if this actually hit some short-term resistance as we come up into this level, or if we just burst right through it as we get into January and February. And we're expecting to see continued strength in the market at least into the summer of next year, and then maybe see some stalling out at that point. But some individual cities, what I wanted to show you, here's a chart on the overall cities from the peak. This is the peak from the gain. Then we obviously saw the decline from the peak, and then this is the recovery from the trough. I'm going to show you some numbers that will make it a little bit easier to identify what I'm talking about. But in the markets that we're currently buying in, which is Los Angeles, and we've been buying in, and Seattle, you'll see that based on their recovery and based on our return on equity, how much better we've done. But here, obviously, all these markets are coming back, right? You're seeing across the board nice recoveries from the peak, and this is the actual numbers in those charts. And you'll see that from the recovery, Los Angeles, and this includes Orange County, up 8.7%, Seattle up 9.8%. And like I said, in those markets, when you look at our overall return over that same period of time, return on equity has obviously been much better than that, about 10%, about 10 times as good as what we saw in those markets. So point is that we're still anticipating to be able to beat the overall market as far as recovery goes. And remember, we started in that market, when you look at it realistically, like I showed you that particular chart, we started actually when the market was still falling, and we still saw this drop. This has been the recovery from the low, and that's this is obviously in the 20 60-day composite, this one right here, and here's the 10 on top of it. As far as our Capital Group, you can take a look at our past performance always by going to past performance. If you don't have an account, you can follow what we're doing. These are some of our recent purchases for us and our partners. This is some of we're actually pending on Avalon. We took possession of this, and we're working on taking possession of this property. And we just recently sold Los Platillos, 4% there. We just recently sold this actually yesterday. It was closed for about 10%, and we're waiting on Gilman. Those are basically our positions that we're currently holding. We're continuing, and if you have an account, obviously you can simply go to our Capital Group, log in, and you can search for properties that are coming to the market. If you want to do a trial, you can also go into a trial period, and you can search. You won't be able to see the current research that we have on the property and pictures and P&Ls, but what you will be able to see is you'll be able to see old data. So for example, you would see a property that it came up, and let's say I wanted to go and see what happened last week, in Washington. I could go to the second, and I could go search, and this is with our trial. I could go search, and I could say only properties, only hot properties, so detailed, and I can kind of see what OCG's values were, what research was available, and what they actually sold for. This obviously sold for, opening bid was 137. Someone bought it for $200,000. Anyhow, I hope everybody has a great day. Look forward to seeing you.